Hey everyone, I'm Beth McAndrews from Dread Central, and I am here today with author Eric LaRocca. They have written some incredible novellas and novels and short stories. Things have gotten worse since we last spoke, and You've Lost a Lot of Blood, which is out now. Eric, hello. How are you?
Hi, I'm amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I am so excited to talk to you because your work is incredible and gross, and I love it so much. But just for audience members who are not familiar, can you just tell us a little bit about what You've Lost a Lot of Blood is about?
Yeah, so You've Lost a Lot of Blood is basically, I consider it like a spiritual sibling to Things Have Gotten Worse since we last
Okay.
spoke, in that it's like told through, like, it's like a found footage type narrative. So it's like very epistolary format with like, um, there's poetry, there's like audio transcripts between two of the characters that are recorded that you read, and then you actually read a novella within the novella that was written by one of the characters. So you kind of get like a fragmented um, view of a serial killer's mind, and that's basically what the whole piece is about. And I just want to say like 50% of the proceeds from that novella go to Trans Lifeline.
Hell yeah.
So if you purchase like on Bookshop, Amazon, wherever you purchase it, 50% of those proceeds do go to Trans Lifeline. So yeah, I think it's a very special book, and I'm really like honored to share it with readers, and everybody's been like so kind about the reception so far. So I'm really happy about that. And then I have We Can Never Leave This Place, which is coming up in like a week, I think,
Oh my
from
God.
the time that this is taking place. So that's a novella from Journal Stone, and that's a little bit more different than my other work. It's more of like a dark fantasy with
Ooh.
some body horror elements in there, but it's really about trauma and grief, which, you know, Things Have Gotten Worse was about trauma and sort of similar themes, but We Can Never Leave This Place is set in this like unnamed war-torn country where this young girl named Mara, her father dies violently, and he's delivered back to their dilapidated, falling apart apartment. And she and her mother are kind of left to themselves and to grieve. And Mara discovers her mother inviting a very peculiar thing into their home that says they're going to protect them from the world of devastation outside their door, but it comes at a price. So that's basically the whole gist of that story. And I don't want to give too much away, but that novella is available for pre-order right now. And yeah, I hope readers really enjoy it because it was so much fun to write. So
We'll have links, everyone, in the article and also on YouTube to pre-order all this stuff, just so you can, I mean, you have to, I'm saying it now. Dread Central approved, please pre-order these books.
thank you.
So I love that you say found footage of the epistolary novel, because I love epistolary novels, and I love
Me
that you're
too.
doing it now, like with tech, like especially because things have gotten worse, like, and you said with You've Lost a Lot of Blood, it's these really incredible kind of narratives that are told through text. What draws you to creating narratives like that are fragmented but all come together?
I think it's the fact that they feel very dangerous to read. And that to me is what horror fiction should be. Horror fiction should be dangerous. It should
Yeah.
be something that you feel kind of dirty after reading. That's just my viewpoint. You know, other people might feel differently, but I feel what really inspires me when I watch a movie or when I read a book is I feel like I'm reading something or seeing something that I shouldn't be seeing. Like I felt that way after I saw Lars von Trier's
Oh
Antichrist.
my God.
Like that movie is something I feel like I should have never seen, but I love that movie, you know?
Yeah.
And I felt the same way when I read like House of Leaves,
Oh my
you
God.
know,
Yes.
Like you just feel like you're, and it's so unsettling. It just creeps in. It's very like voyeuristic. You feel like you're, like I said, like you're reading something that you're not supposed to be reading.
Yeah.
And that just excites me. And I love getting in the headspace of a character and writing those documents that they find to like piece together. I feel like it's a really fun, it's just a fun like creative writing exercise. I mean, if
Yeah.
any writers are listening, a really great thing to do that sometimes I do when I'm stuck on starting idea development is I'll just design a character in my head and write like from the point of view of that person, and just like collect little pieces from, like, maybe they write poetry, maybe they do this, maybe they do that, and I just sort of collect, it's kind of like a writing workshop that I do with myself.
Oh, cool.
um,
That's so cool.
yeah, but I mean, as far as like the found footage, I think it's just really fascinating to read. Gemma Files is an author that does it really well.
Mhm.
She's amazing. And also there's a book that's coming out. It's not really epistolary, but it's told so that you feel like you're reading something that you're not supposed to be reading, and it's called Anybody Home?
I'm reading that right now. Oh,
Yes.
and you recommended this to me previously. It
Yeah.
is, oh, in a good way.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean that
so
in a good.
good. It's so
It's
good.
so good, but it's
It,
like he's videotaping himself
exactly.
for like
Yeah.
serial killers.
Right. And it's very found footage in that regard. Like I feel like that book is very, like, that book is cursed in my mind. Like there's something evil lurking in the pages of that book. And that's what I strive to create when I'm creating books like Things Have Gotten Worse and You've Lost a
Yeah.
Lot of Blood. Like I like them to have like kind of a lore around them where people are like, oh, like that one, like be careful of that one, like the best kind of horror movies are like that. I feel like they have this like mythology to them where it's like an endurance test to watch them.
What are some examples of those kinds of movies for you? I'm curious.
I mean, definitely Martyrs, like that's a huge one for me. What are some other ones? Like High Tension, a lot
Oh,
of like French Extremity.
I love High Tension. Look, High Tension is a problematic fave. I know that there's lots of problems with it, but I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I'm trying to think of like some really, there's also like a lot of really great Japanese like splatter films. Like there's one called Splatter Naked Blood that's like very, very disturbing, with like very gruesome scenes. And it's really hard to come by like the DVD. It's like very, very expensive. So I hope they do like a re-release sometime soon. But um yeah, like just I would say like a lot of like Japanese films, like anything by Takashi Miike is like that for me. Anything by Lars von Trier, by Cronenberg, like those are like the films that have those like mythologies behind them, and those like that lore where you're like, it's so like there's something about it that you shouldn't be watching it, but it just is so exhilarating to watch.
Yeah. And so we've talked about this before, but we are both big fans of like complicated, gross, queer narratives.
Hmm.
And I want to hear more from you about why that's important and why you love that so much and why you love writing about it so much. Because that's one of the great things about your work is it's like complicated queer relationships that are like body horror and gross. So
Hmm.
hear more about that from you.
Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly stand behind the fact that, like, my viewpoint that queer people can be monstrous and they can be villains. Um, I've written articles about this. I've answered this like in interviews, but I'm totally always 100% behind the idea that we deserve complicated, complex, gross, disgusting queer characters in our fiction and media. Queer people are not saints. We're not
No.
like we're not perfect. And to kind of perpetuate this narrative where it's like we only want positive representation, we only want queer people who, you know, are doing like uh, benevolent things and just like kind and good, and like that those narratives are fine. I'm glad they exist, but I'm just not going to write them. Like
Yeah.
when you pick up an Eric LaRocca book, you're going to get complex, disgusting queer characters. And I don't know. I get kind of frustrated sometimes when I see some of the pushback from uh, sometimes a lot from other queer people, where
Yeah.
it's like, why are you writing us in such a negative light? Why are we being presented in such a way? And my argument is we deserve we deserve to see the full spectrum of the queer experience. You know, where there's no point in uh, diluting our presence, our beings, like in the public consciousness as like, oh, we're just like these perfect angels. You know, we're not. Queer people can be misogynistic, they can be homophobic, um, they can be racist. Like we're capable, we're human beings,
Yeah.
you know, we're capable of doing horrible things to other people. And to say that queer people shouldn't be presented in such a way just really rubs me the wrong way. And I just think it's really narrow-minded. So to me, queer queer characters that show the range of our experience and like we're not, and that's another thing, like we're not like a monolith, like we're not
Yeah.
like just one thing. We're varied, we're a whole spectrum of people, and there are good, there are bad, and there are in between. Like there are complex people in the world. So to me, queer characters should be allowed to be as complex as possible. And I feel like the readers who like are in tune with that and read between, like can read subtext and can like grasp what I'm trying to say, like I feel like they appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I
for
mean?
sure. Oh, 100%. It's like I appreciate it because, like, I don't know, it's always the gay best friend and like the funny, sassy queer character in so many things. And it's like, I mean, again, it's great. I'm very happy about that. But at the same time, I'm like, I still want to see gritty queer characters. I mean, like, that is all I
And we
want.
deserve that. We
We
deserve that.
do.
And
Exactly.
there's no, I mean, one of the big criticisms of things have gotten worse was like, oh, like this portrayal of two lesbians is going to set everything back like 30-40 years. And it's like, first of all, a book, like it's a book, like it doesn't have the power to like really influence that much. Like it's just a freaking book. And also like I feel like that kind of viewpoint is just so, like I said, like narrow-minded, because
Yeah.
there's so much, like queer people are capable of being monstrous and being like villains, like I said. And I feel like growing up, like I didn't really see any sort of queer characters in anything I consumed. So I feel like they're like, the people who criticize it are coming from the point of view where they're like, we've waited for this for so long, like it's time to put our best foot forward and,
Mhm.
you know, portray us in like a positive light so that we can become more widely accepted by, you know, the norm. And I say, like, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with you know, presenting false things, false narratives to the public. Like we're queer people, we're complex, we're human beings. I have a right to write about these queer characters in the way that I want to present
Hell yeah. Oh,
them.
incredible. So I'm curious if there are other authors that are doing similar things with their queer characters that you can recommend for everyone to check out.
Oh, definitely. I'll recommend two, just off the top of my head. So The first one is David Demchuk, who wrote The Bone Mother and Red X. Red X is a phenomenal queer horror novel. And very complex characters in that one, very complex, complicated queer characters. David is an openly gay man and lives in Canada, and just, his prose, first of all, his prose is just totally bewitching. It's just so beautiful to read. But he does write very difficult characters to read sometimes, and that to me is exciting. So his books, I think, are totally just completely exhilarating to read. And then the other one I'll mention is Gretchen Felker Martin, who wrote Manhunt. And
It is so good.
yeah, she really, that book, I blurbed it like a year, I think like over a year ago. But I still think about that book pretty much like once a week. I think about it. And
Same.
it will be, I have no doubt that it will be like a classic of queer literature.
And it's just like so queer, and it's not like subtext. It's just like queer, angry, incredible.
In your face.
In your
Totally.
face. And we need that. And it's
Totally.
and I love her writing. Oh, I agree. Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
And curious, what would be maybe your best piece of, or like so a piece of advice that you think young queer writers should know when they want to get started in the creative writing field and the fiction writing field?
Yeah, I would say to them to it might be like cliche, but just like be fearless, write. If you have an imagination for it, there are readers who want to read it. Like when I first discovered Clive Barker, I was like, holy shit, like you can write about this stuff, like you can put this stuff like on the page and on the screen. And it like blew my mind. But if you're audacious with your thinking and your imagination, like people will flock to you eventually. Like you will find your readers. And there will be people who try to tear you down. There will be people, even from your own community, who try to discredit what you're doing and say like hurtful, horrible things. But as long as you stay true to your aesthetic and your vision as a writer, they can't take your dignity and your pride away from you. So just hold fast to your vision and just be fearless, like I said, like and your readers will respect you.
Hell yeah. So before we wrap up, let's plug some stuff. We've talked about some of your work, but you have so much more stuff coming out. So what can our viewers look forward to from Eric LaRocca?
Yeah, so We Can Never Leave This Place is coming out from Journal Stone on June 24th. After that, Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke and Other Misfortunes comes out from Titan Books on September 6th, which I'm really excited about that because it contains two never before published like novellas, novelettes in there. So that's really exciting. And then in October, like right around Halloween, I have another novella coming out called They Were Here Before Us.
Oh my God. Do you have enough coming out?
Yeah, I know. I need to slow down. I definitely need to slow down.
Incredible. Well, everyone, there'll be links for, are all of those available?
They're all available for pre-order.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So all of the pre-order links and buying links will be in the description, so everyone can pre-order and check out your work. Eric, thank you so much for joining me today to talk about all of your work. It has been incredible and an honor to chat with you.
Same here. Thank you so much.